You're making more money than you ever have. Congratulations. So why does it feel like there's nothing left at the end of the month? If you've ever found yourself wondering why someone with a six-figure salary can still feel broke, you are in exactly the right place. Because today I'm going to show you exactly why high income but still broke is a real thing, and what's actually going on underneath it, and how to start. Hi, I'm Lisa Walbridge. I help professional women learn the money skills, face their money fears, and rewrite their money story so that they can create the life they really want. And I am so glad you're here. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Here's the thing nobody tells you about when you finally start earning real money. The number on your paycheck doesn't automatically fix anything. There are 7 specific reasons why high income and financial stability don't always show up together. And not one of them is because you are bad with money. Let's get into it. All right, reason number 1 is lifestyle inflation. This one is sneaky because it happens so gradually that most people don't even notice it's happening. And that happened to me too. Here's how it goes. You get a raise. You finally feel like you have a little breathing room. You upgrade your car. You move into a nicer apartment. You start eating out more because you've earned it and you're tired. You sign up for a few more subscriptions. You know how it goes. You book a nicer vacation than you would have a few years back. None of those decisions feels dramatic in the moment. Each one is reasonable, deserved even. But what's happening underneath is that your spending quietly expands to match every raise you get. And that means that no matter how much more you earn, you're going to end up in the same place. There's nothing left because there's always somewhere for it to go. My husband and I fell into the lifestyle inflation trap for a while as we both started to earn money, but we weren't seriously tracking our spending. When I actually sat down finally and looked honestly at our spending, the answer was right there. We hadn't made reckless decisions. We had just quietly upgraded our life in small ways over and over again without ever stopping to ask whether those upgrades were actually what we wanted. Lifestyle inflation isn't a willpower problem. It is a pattern problem. And the good news is that patterns can be fixed. All right, so how do you combat lifestyle inflation? The easiest thing to do is from now on, commit to funneling any increased income directly into investments or savings for big goals, the things that you really want in life. Got a 3% raise? Increase your retirement contributions by 3%. You won't even miss it because you didn't have it before. What's harder is to walk it back when your lifestyle is already inflated, but it is totally doable and completely necessary if you want to get out of that high income but broke life cycle. My husband and I did it when we were determined to structure our finances so that I could stay home and leave my job when our daughter was a toddler. I wanted so badly to stay home with her, and for the longest time, I didn't think it was possible. But we did walk it back. We decreased our income by 40%, and we set up a system that allowed us to not only survive, but thrive on one income. And you can do this. Reason number 2, the absence of a real system. This one surprises people because we tend to assume that smart, capable women who earn good money would naturally be good at managing it too. But that's not how it works. Managing money is a skill, and most of us were never taught that. So what happens is we operate on a vague sense of things. We know roughly what we earn. We have a rough idea of what the bills are. We assume that if nothing is obviously terrible, then we must be okay. But roughly and approximately are not a system. Without a clear picture of what's coming in, what's going out, where you want it to go, money just disappears. Not dramatically, just quietly a little at a time into the gap between intention and reality. The good news is that you don't need a complicated system. In fact, the more complicated it is, the less likely you are to stick with it. What you need is something simple and sustainable, built around your actual life, and that is more possible than you might think. I want to take a quick second here because I have something I really want you to know about. Smart Saving Society is my new group coaching program coming soon, and it's designed for exactly the woman I'm describing in this video. the one who's earning good money and still living paycheck to paycheck and genuinely cannot figure out why and how to fix it. Inside Smart Saving Society, we work on this in a unique way. I don't just teach you the practical side, getting a real system in place, understanding your numbers, building a budget that actually fits your life, though all of that is important. We dig into the mindset piece too, uncovering the beliefs and patterns that have been running the show quietly, often since childhood, so that you can develop the positive relationship with money that will help you absolutely crush the practical side of money. If that sounds like the missing piece for you, I want to hear from you. Click the link in the description box below and I'll get you on the priority list. You'll be the first to know when doors open. All right, let's keep going. Reason number 3, invisible spending. This is different from lifestyle inflation, even though they sound similar. Lifestyle inflation is about the bigger decisions, like the apartment, the car, the vacation. Invisible spending is about all the small things that quietly drain your account without you ever really deciding to spend the money. Subscriptions you forgot to sign up for, the streaming services you pay for but haven't opened in 2 months, the app that auto-renews every year. Oh, I hate when that happens. The gym membership you use twice a month and feel too guilty to cancel, those coffee runs. And then there's convenience spending, extra cost of ordering delivery instead of cooking, the impulse purchases that show up in your cart because you were exhausted and the algorithm knew exactly what to put in front of you. I did an honest audit of our spending when we were going through that phase of life. I did an honest audit of our spending when I did want to stay home with our daughter and we were trying to figure out how do we live on one income. So we went through all of our bank statements line by line, and I was genuinely surprised. Not because anything was out of control, but because there were things I had completely forgotten about. Money leaving our account every single month for things that didn't seem like a big deal at the time, but added up quickly. That exercise alone changed the way I thought about money and allowed us, once we had that knowledge, to do something about it. Once you can see it clearly, you can make a real decision about it. How to address invisible spending? Make it visible. Reason number 4, the debt minimum payment trap. This one is quietly one of the most expensive things that can happen in a high earner's financial life, and it doesn't get talked about enough. Here's how it works. You have a debt, a credit card, car payment, student loans. You make your minimum payments every month. You feel like you're handling it, but minimum payments are designed to keep you in debt. They're not designed to get you out. When you're only paying the minimum, like most of that payment goes straight to interest. The actual balance barely moves. And because the balance barely moves, the interest keeps compounding. And you end up paying for that original purchase for years, and sometimes at 2 or 3 times the original price. For a high earner, this trap can feel invisible because the minimum payments feel manageable. They're not threatening. You can cover them without too much stress. So they just sit there month after month, quietly costing thousands of dollars you never see or feel all at once. I want you to think about this for a second. How much are you paying each month in minimum payments? And how much of that is going straight to interest? Money that isn't building anything for you at all. That number is worth knowing because understanding it is often the thing that finally creates the urgency to do something differently. All right, I want to pause here because this is the heart of what I'm talking about today. Which one of these 4 reasons feels most like you when it comes to being high income but broke? Is it lifestyle inflation, the missing system, invisible spending, or the debt minimum payment trap? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and your answer will genuinely help me know what to talk about next. Reason number 5, the missing money mindset piece. This is the one that most financial content skips entirely, and I think it's actually the most important one on the list. Here's what I've learned. You can have a perfect budget, a debt payoff plan, a savings strategy that would absolutely work if you followed it, and you still don't follow it. Not because you don't want to, but because something underneath is working against you. We all have a relationship with money, and that relationship was largely shaped before we had any say in it by the home we grew up in, by what our parents said and did and felt about money, by the messages we absorbed along the way about who gets to be good with money and who doesn't. And those money experiences compound over time as you handle money in life and make mistakes with money. Those messages become beliefs, and those beliefs run the show quietly in ways we don't even recognize. I grew up in a household where money was a source of stress and strife. And for a long time, I carried that energy right into my adult life without even realizing it. I told myself I was bad with money. I made spending decisions based on how I was feeling in the moment, not what I actually wanted. It wasn't until I started doing the inner work, really looking at where my money beliefs came from, that the outer work started to actually stick. That's why the mindset piece isn't extra. It isn't optional. It's the thing that makes everything else hold. Reason number 6, not paying yourself first. Most of us save whatever's left over at the end of the month, and most of us end up saving nothing, right? Or close to nothing, because by the end of the month, there's nothing left, for all the reasons we've already talked about. The shift that changed everything for me was this: sock it away before it gets spent on something else. Before the bills, before the subscriptions, before anything else, a portion of our income went directly to retirement investments and saving for big goals. Automatically, without me having to make a decision in the moment, because the moment I have to decide, when I'm tired, busy, the month has been a lot, I will almost always decide to wait until next month. Setting it up to happen automatically took that decision out of my hands entirely. And something shifted, not just in our bank account, but in how I thought about myself and money. Start small if you need to. $25 a month is not nothing. It is the beginning of a habit, and habits compound over time just like interest does. Reason 7, and this is the one I really want you to sit with: you haven't made the decision yet. Not consciously, not out loud, but underneath the busyness and the good intentions and the I'll start in January, waiting until things calm down, waiting until you earn more, the kids are older, or life feels more settled. What finally changed for me was really deciding what life I wanted. Not because everything was perfect, not because I had it all figured out, but because I was tired of the gap between the life I dreamed of and what was actually happening, and I was finally willing to do something about it. That decision was the turning point. Everything I've built since then, the system, the stability, the home we purchased, the freedom I created by leaving my job, started with that one internal shift. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to decide that this time you're going to do something, and then take one small step. Small steps are real steps, and you've got this. If you've made it to the end of this video, I want you to know I see you. You are not here by accident. If this resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up. It helps other women who are dealing with this exact same thing to find this content. And subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be posting new videos every month, and I would love to see you back here. If you are ready to stop wondering where your paycheck goes and actually do something about it, click the link in the description box below and get on that priority list for Smart Saving Society. That's where we work on the high income but broke cycle together, both the practical side and the mindset side, because mastering both is the ultimate key to financial freedom. Being high income but broke is not where your story ends. It's where it starts to change. I'll see you in the next one.